Someone wrote Fertilizer King on my comments last night. I can't remember who right now at this moment. I apologize. But it was I have a certain knack of buying fertilizer on sale at the stores in my location, and I've been doing quite well. Um, I have dozens of bags. Oh, hello, hello. I have dozens of bags of fertilizer, and there was one in particular that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, fertilizer deal. Only thing I do, I go into the store. I try to think like, what is the last thing that you think about when it's dead of winter? And I think about all the items that that you will not think about hardly in the dead of winter, and I go with that. And one is fertilizer. I'm not buying fertilizer. I figure most people. I am not buying fertilizer in the dead of winter. I refuse to buy things I absolutely don't feel like I need fertilizer. So when that happens, I go and I look through the stores and find out what stores are selling things marked down that has to do with gardening. And one was Home Depot. And I started going through the stores. Then I found out that Home Depot had, uh, they don't talk about it a lot. They don't talk about it a lot. But they have a clearance section that I didn't even know was over there. And I got to talking with the workers in the stores. And he said, "Oh, you're the one who bought all that fertilizer that day." Yes, I said, yes. I said, "I brought a flatbed out and I filled it up." And then I kept going. And I took it up to the counter, and there were bags in there like this for like $1.90. How much does this weigh? 4 pounds. And it was like $1.90. There were bags that were 60 cents, 70 cents. And I just kept getting them and getting them and getting them. And I said, "Oh man, this is beautiful." And I didn't care what kind it was, as long as it said organic. It's the only ones I was interested in. And I was getting the top brand names, and there was some that I was getting that were made by companies that were very popular, but most people weren't buying them. They what they call they're made from like kitchen scraps. No, not kitchen scraps, food scraps. And so I was getting those, and when I was getting them, it just felt right because I was getting bags that they were 4 pound bags for 70 cents, and read the information on them. It was like help save the planet, use organic food uh, to grow your flowers and vegetables, and that way they don't go into landfills. And I was like, okay, okay. But when they were sitting in the shelves, um, for whatever reason, people weren't buying them. But of course, they were $11 a bag, so people weren't buying them. People were buying. Uh, a lot of them are still buying the Miracle Grow items, like the granulated gasoline, in a sense. Um, and so Miracle Grow is so well known. And plus, they make a whole bunch of organic fertilizers as well as the gasoline kind. Um, and I call it gasoline. It's not actually, but it's made of some petroleum products. So it is. I've used it way back in the day when I first started gardening, and I used to see plants grow big and fast. And they did that. They actually did that. But you got to be mindful of that stuff. If you use too much, your plant dies. If you when you're out there growing your plants, they grow great. first year, second year, and then something starts to happen. It starts to happen when you use this fertilizer. It then start to salt your ground where you are planting. Plus the bugs. You'll wonder why the bugs are eating the plants up. Well, they're not growing in their natural way of growing in their timeline. They're growing super fast and they're tender. They're very tender, and bugs are attracted to that. They're attracted to that. So they eat them. But when you use regular fertilizer, the plant grows, but it doesn't grow super fast like the Miracle Grow. Miracle Grow makes it grow so fast that if you had this plant in a place where nothing can get to it, I guess it would work. But for it to be outside, tender. It's so tender they go right for it and eat it up. So you'll be spraying chemicals on it to keep the bugs off, and you'll be spraying chemicals on it to help it grow. And then when you eat the food, you'll taste. This don't taste that good. You'll taste like the plant has been synthetically grown. And I have done that. To me, and I don't know how true it is with you, but it tastes like when I used to use a Miracle Grow probably about 17 years ago. It tasted metallic to me. To pull off the vine little cherry tomato or a piece of lettuce. Excuse, not lettuce, it's spinach, and taste it. What is this? And I taste a metallic taste. So now I use products, and it's not the name I'm pushing out there. I have nothing, folks, nothing at all to do with this product. Nothing. I called the company and actually spoke to them. I said, "Why so many bags?" Now look at this bag here. This is primarily let's say Total Advantage. Now it's for flowers and roses fertilizer. Guess what? You can use it to grow. You can use it to grow vegetables. Think about having a pepper plant that you could get to really blossom and be using a fertilizer that's helping it to blossom, that's designed for that. It's going to give you a jump. More peppers, because you're directing the plant in that direction to produce. The same thing with fruit trees. That you're getting them to blossom more when you give them fertilizer that will help promote blossoms, and that's something that you gotta just be mindful of. You'll get actually more fruit. Or as Barry White would say, "Sure, you're right." And so I'm happy about it. But I asked the company, I said, "Why is this product on clearance?" He said, "It did not sell well." And I'm thinking, wow, why would people not want more blooms? And he said, "Sure, you could use it for your vegetable garden, no problem at all. You're just going to promote more blooms on it. I mean, it's fertilizer. See, a lot of fertilizers that people get confused about. They're all these fertilizers, and they say, I am cucumber this weekend. Go for it. If you're going to plant some, yeah, definitely plant them. If that's what you like, plant those lemon cucumbers, and make sure you amend that soil. Because I don't know if you have heavy clay or you got sand or whatever, but amend that soil. And people that have those tillers, do as much research as you can. Do as much research as you can, because tilling is, it's not the greatest thing for the soil. Yeah, how much fertilizer do you think one needs for a 10 acre fruit and vegetable farm monthly. Okay, how much fertilizer do you need for 10 acres? It depends on what kind of fertilizer you're using, what kind you're using. It depends on what kind of plant you're growing. It depends on a lot of those factors. And it also depends on the type of soil you have. If you have soil that don't even need to be fertilized, that's one thing. If you have, a lot of people are doing what they call no dig gardening. No dig farming, and they're fertilizing very little. So it depends on your particular situation. And that's how I'm gonna answer that because it's not a one size fit all. If you go get a soil test done and they say your soil is rich and it doesn't need anything, and then you would say okay, then you would just leave the residue on the ground in the upcoming year. Leave your residue there, and your residue will be your fertilizer. This is such an incredible channel. You feel homesteading. Okay. I'm glad you like my channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is the only thing I talk about here primarily is growing things naturally, low cost. Um, Low cost, keep the cost down because you don't need to just throw all your money in the ground. A lot of people are doing. Let's see, what's up, morning? Hey, see that? You changed my name, everybody. You changed my name. That is the farmer. That is the farmer. He's been. You don't see him much anymore like you used to. He's been out there working, so you know how that is, folks. But he's going to be putting out some more videos. They're going to show you what he's doing on his property involving those fruit trees, brother. The fruit trees. We need to see more of the fruit trees. We like seeing you, but we want to see those fruit trees. My fruit trees have praying mantis nests all in them. I like that. I hope I can catch some video of them hatching out, but I'll have to find out, do some research to find out what time of year they hatch out. They're supposed to be an interesting look when they all string together. And the weirdest thing about them, folks, praying mantises eat each other. They eat each other. It's just brutal. Brother looks over at sister and says, "Hey, sis, can you come in for a minute? I just want to ask you something." And he starts eating her head off. It's just brutal. But praying mantis, the ones that do survive being around each other, they go off to live alone and they eat up bad insects that we have in our gardens. I don't know if they eat that stink bug because that stink bug is a nasty smelling son of a gun. And he uses that stink as a weapon. If another insect or something is after him, he goes pop. If you could hear it on the microphone, they just go pop. And when he let that stink go, most insects back up because they go, "Oh my God, this stuff is all over me. Plus, I can't breathe." Man copies that kind of warfare, and he just do it more effectively today. They use gases all the time to kill people. Okay, so before I get too far off subject, I just love watching nature in my garden. It's just weird. I see the snakes out there crawling around. One time, one scared the heck out of me. He was I was bending over, looking at something at the base of the tree, and he jumped out of the tree. And all it was a little garter snake, and I was all like, "Oh," like that, because I couldn't believe it. It scared the heck out of me. I didn't know what it was, and all it was a little garter snake, about a foot, a little over a foot long. But I said, "Dang, I just bought a big giant bag of local pardon me, acid." Oh my God. Yeah, I wish you had the receipt to take that stuff back. Because I'm gonna tell you something. All those brand name bags of stuff, it breaks my heart that they do get some of us. That's what they're designed to do. Look how pretty that bag looks. Look at the vegetables on the back, on the sides and the front of the bag. It's designed to catch gardeners. That's what it's designed for. Back in the old days, a bag of fertilizer was just a brown bag, and it said fertilizer on the front. And they had the numbers. Now they figured out if I decorate this bag and make it nice and pretty. Oh no no no! I don't have enough fertilizer to sell, but I have shelves filled with fertilizer, and I love that because I never had that before. I used to always go back in the day before I knew what was going on. I used to always be that guy saying, "Oh man, look at all this profit. I hope I have enough fertilizer." I was that guy, and then I looked at the prices of them in the stores. Back then, they were like $8, $9 a bag, and I didn't want to kick out that kind of loot for something. So then I started studying natural means of fertilizing and discovered that all the grass and weeds I had around my property it was fertilizer. And all I had to do was find a way to extract the nutrients from them, which was simple. Add them to a container and the container of water and let them sit there for 3 weeks. And then when they rot down, you take that pure concentration. Or I'm gonna show you a couple of things you can do. Because another gentleman asked a question a while back. Let's talk here. Let me help because I got to get into my mode right now of saving money, and I can be really really cheap when it comes to the garden. And I can save some money, and you have excellent results. Here's how it works. Um, Grass and weeds is nothing but fertilizer. Keep that in mind. They're not a pest. They are uh, because some of these videos that you watch, they'll tell you use a comfort, use a comfort, use a comfort. Yeah, use a comfort, but you may not have comfort. You may not have enough comfort if you got like a 10-acre farm. But let's say that you go around your farm and you don't spray your grass. You take that grass, you get a mower out there, you mow some of that grass up, and you put them in 35 or 40-gallon drums. You put that grass down in the bottom of that drum to come up about a foot, and you let that stuff sit in there with water and marinate for about 3 weeks. It's gonna stink like all out hell, but it's gonna be some of the best fertilizer you use in a long time. You can put weeds in there with a mixture of grass, so you can use all grass. If you want high nitrogen, you use just grass. If you want a mixture of a balance of fertilizers, a balance of ingredients in it, plus the grass, you put all that stuff in there. I used to put in. You get a sock. It's a sock. I call it a sock, or actually a straining bag. Let's be clear, a straining bag. And you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you get a 5-gallon bucket straining bag. Write that down if you don't remember. Um, you could go get a good bag of cow manure at the store, or you get what you want to. I guess you could get cow manure at your neighbors or something. But you want to put it in a bag about. Mm, well, you can put 3 pounds in, 2 pounds in, 5 pounds in. You know, you set it down in there, and you fill that container with water, and you let it evaporate off. No, wait a minute, don't put the stuff in there yet. I'm sorry. I use rainwater. I use rainwater. I got to remember that. But you want to use if you use water from your house, we got all the chemicals and everything. You sit out there for 48 hours, you let it evaporate out. Then you put your cow manure in there, you put your grass clippings in there, and all that good stuff. And then you sit around and you let it marinate for 3 weeks. Let me tell you something, folks. You will have more fertilizer than you know what to do with. And then you take it out, you put it in whatever container you're using. You put 1 part to 10 parts of water. Again, I use rainwater. But if you got to use your water, put it in a container, leave the cap open for about 48 hours. Excuse me. Then you add 1 part of the liquid, and you got gallons full of fertilizer. They won't tell you this at the gardening store. They won't tell you this at the farm stores. Excuse me. They don't need you knowing that because you're not gonna come there and keep buying fertilizer because you know how to make it. At one time in history, gardeners did not go to a big box store, folks. They didn't do it. They didn't. In fact, the big box stores didn't exist for this purpose. Hi, morning gardener. Hi, everyone. Oh, thank you. Hello. So when you take that fertilizer and you mix it up like that, you think about it. You could take 5 pounds of cow manure and do a whole 2 or 3 acres with it because you're stretching it when you make a liquid out of it. Oh my goodness, folks. And when you start doing that, you start pissing off people who sell fertilizer because they don't need you spreading that around. Because if you spread it around, we got to make you disappear because you're hurting our bottom line. We don't need you doing that. And I spread it around because I know the truth. I know the truth. At one time, I had a garden and I lost my job. And I had everything in the ground. And not only was I out running around looking for work and stressed out and everything, but I had a garden to take care of. And that was my whole year. I planted all these plants and I said, I don't have any more fertilizer. What am I going to do? And I said, okay, I know what I got to do. I got to try something. And I looked around and I kept getting this information on fertilizer. What is fertilizer? Dead plant matter, or anything is dead that was once alive. And plants drink in a liquid form. And I kept thinking about that. And I said, so if I can convert another plant into liquid, I can use it as fertilizer. Light went off. Went to my garden, started pulling up all this grass and all these weeds and put them in this container and filled it up with my water container, which was my water system, and put about 35 gallons in there. And I just let them sit there. And then when I got up 2 weeks later, there was all these gnats in them. They're like gnats. They look like little tiny little flies. They were everywhere in there. And then I looked in there and I had all these mosquito larvae in there. They were all in there swimming around and everything. I'm looking at them. I said, what the heck am I doing here? And I said, look at all that life in there. And then after that, I started putting a lid on them. And then I learned if I let the lid stay off, sometimes I would get some more insects in there. And I knew insects were fertilizer. And then I started dipping it out after 3 weeks and making fertilizer. And folks, the plants were jumping out of the ground. And I looked at them and I said, oh my God, look at these plants. Look how they're behaving. These plants are behaving like they're crazy. They were behaving like somebody had given them the perfect food. So I said, wait a minute, what if I fertilize them every 2 weeks or every week with this liquid fertilizer? What would happen? Big cucumbers, big tomatoes. I was using this, and think about it, folks. I had an endless supply of this stuff because I had weeds. Then I came up with another idea. I took the weed whacker and started cutting down the areas where the weeds were getting too long and they would lay on the ground and I was fertilizing my ground. So I said, oh, wait a minute. I could put these weeds around my plants as mulch. Huh. So I was using weeds to block out weeds from my plants that I was trying to eat. Good morning. Good morning. Good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. I saw your video you did yesterday. Very good job. Had me wanting to go out and get a fig tree. And folks, I got to tell you, it was incredible. I had felt like I discovered something, and it was right there all along. It was right there all along. I learned that what you need from your garden is already there. It's already there on the ground. All you got to do is recognize it, and then start using it and respecting how nature works, how it works. The weeds grow because the soil needs something in that area. And that's why the weeds grow there. That's why they grow. And some weeds have longer tap roots than others. And so those tend to go deeper to pick up more deep, rich minerals from the soil. And when you take those weeds and put them in the water and extract that from them, oh my goodness, come on now. And then when the fall comes and you go out and you get the leaves and you spread those all over your ground, and because people say, well, I want to build a compost pile. If you want to build a compost pile, be my guest. I don't do that anymore. I lay them on the ground where I'm going to use them at in the first place, and I don't have to move them from there to here to there to there. I don't want to do that. I just want to lay them down, and I found out that leaves don't really blow away in the fall for me. They just don't blow away. So the leaves go down, and look, folks, I used to go around in my car, little four-door car, mid-size. And but it's a pretty good sized car. It's an older car, so it's bigger than the average midsize. And I used to pick up all of those leaves, put them in the backseat, put them in the trunk, go around. And I'm out there doing this at night. Now, as a person of a darker skin complexion, to be out at night in front of neighbors' houses and people don't know what you're in for. I mean, what you're doing over there, and you just grab it. They look out the curtain and see you grabbing the bags of leaves. They don't know. They have no idea what you're doing, and they don't know what you're doing. Are you over there setting them afire? Are you planning on going in somebody's car? They don't know. The media kind of feeds a lot of the hype of what people are and what they could be, whatever. They do that. The media does that, and it's sad. But here's what happened. The person had over 40 bags of leaves, and I took every last one of them. They were in, I want to say clear bags, if I remember correctly. I never knew this neighbor, never met him before, anything. They bagged that stuff up. They sit out there for the city. And what the city does here in Maryland, they come by to get all your leaves. They grind them up. They put them through a process. They mix them and turn them and mix them and turn them. And they sell it back to you for almost $5 a bag. And they call it soil conditioner. Come on now. Same stuff. They sell it to you. Go to Home Depot and Lowe's and see if you see a bag there that says soil conditioner made for clay soil. Yeah, they do. They do. It's sad. I meet all kind of people, and people are great. It depends on what state of mind you're in when you meet them, because people are great. You can meet bad people in any group of people. It depends on where you go. You can meet great people in any group of people. So it has nothing to do with what particular ethnicity they are. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with where their mind is. And people, for the most part, are good at heart. That's why when you see a baby and they're born, a baby's not a bastard when they're born and all crazy and messing with people. They don't do that. People learn this behavior. They learn it, and then they perpetuated as they go through life. But I've met some good people from all walks of life. Great people, really. I'm on the line right now, and I've met great people. There are people like yourselves that are giving information to me that have got online and really pumped out a lot of good thoughts and wishing people well with their gardens and everything. So I enjoy that. I enjoy that, and that's why I actually come up here and do this because I get a ton of information, and also I'm able to teach or give my information to other people. The one gentleman always said, he always told me, he said to me, he said, listen, I learned how to feed my family from watching your videos. And that gets you right there. That gets you right there, folks. Right there. That gets you right there. Most gardening people are very good people. Yes, they are. Because, I mean, how can you be you're dealing with nature, you watching things grow, and you are learning how much you need the plants. They don't need you. In fact, without them, you wouldn't survive. If you would look in the food chain, you would see everything you eat is plant life, and every plant you eat is sustaining you. You're not. They don't need you. Now, I have worked and developed this little pool of knowledge, and it helped me out immensely. The thing I'm looking at is majority of the soil that we have throughout the lands is primarily clay. Now, that's something that a lot of people may not have gotten that information, but it's clay. It's a clay soil. And the most important thing you should do this gardening year, not saying that you won't, but what I really would like to impress upon you is you concentrate on your soil. Do not concentrate on the plant. Concentrate on that soil. And that's how that works. That soil. Definitely concentrate on that soil. Your soil each year should be improved. And that should be done through mostly through your fall and winter behavior in your soil. People say, well, if summer's gone, there's nothing else to do in the garden. Yes, it is. There's plenty to do. You garden, you grow the soil. You loosen the soil up in the spring and I use a manure fork, and I loosen the soil up, which means I don't go around digging all through my garden because I refuse to do that. And I add soil amendments in that will move for my soil, basically to help us to lighten the soil up. The deer work down, the street, everyone, and oh, okay. I saw all those pears you had on your property, food forest permaculture, and I kept wondering what do they taste like. I mean, because some pears I like the flavor of them, and everyone has different tastes. I was in North Carolina a long while back, long time ago, and it was the pears were kind of milly when you bite into them, and I wasn't used to that. I said, "What is this?" It was kind of like milly, like I was like, "What is this?" So and then some pears, like I've tried, I love pears, and you are right. Yeah. Thank you. I had pears that were sweet, kind of crunchy, and you were like, "Wow, this is good. I could eat this." I'm one of those kind of people. I'm the same way with apples. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. And I would bite into the apple. I like apples that are crisp, sweet, or like my Granny Smith apples. Um, uh, I had when I bite into them and the crisp, and that's what I like. I like that. I don't like the red delicious, the yellow delicious, mostly an apple that through the years I've tried to eat it, but I just can't eat it because it's kind of got, to me, when it's mature, it's got like a milly taste to it, and I just couldn't do that. Peaches, I love. Peaches, yes, yes, I love peaches. My favorite peach is a Hale Haven, and then they got the Alberta. That's another good peach. Now, Alberta here, in Maryland, really starts all first. I always get my peaches first from Honeycrisp. That's the apple that I grow. Honeycrisp apple is the one that I grow. And I haven't got a lot of apples yet. I don't know what's going on. It's three apple trees that I have. I have Granny Smith, Honeycrisp, and the Fuji. And I was told that these are good apples that will cross with each other. Well, somebody needs to tell them that because I know they're young. My apple trees, I looked at them, they're young, they're small. And when I went up to Home Depot yesterday and I saw the apples that trees that they're just bringing in, and I looked at how big and beefy and burly they were, and I said to myself, what? Because you'll hear me say it in the video. I got the video up. What are they feeding these apple trees? That's what I said in the video. What are they feeding these apple trees? Or the pear trees? What are they feeding them? Because, excuse me, these apple trees look like Arnold Schwarzenegger of the apple tree world. My trees have been in the ground almost going on 2 years, and they're not as big as some of them apple trees. And I just looked at it and said, my God, look at that. But as soon as the apple trees start moving and start flowering out, that's when I will start fertilizing. As soon as they start flowering out, I'll start fertilizing. And people say, well, I had a gentleman ask me, when do you start fertilizing your fruit trees? Well, that's what I do. I watch the tree. And you got to look at it like a tree is a lady that's expecting. And you want to make sure they get the care they need during that special time. And that's what you want to do. And when you do that, especially when the fruit start coming on and you say, well, I want this fruit to kind of size up a little bit, then you might feed again just to make sure that the fruit is sizing up in the right time frame. You don't need them on there forever. You need them to size up, and then you need to pay attention to what the tree's doing and take further steps. If it needs to be fed again, if it doesn't, then you'll know because of your tree will tell you what it's doing. It'll tell you what it's doing. The fruit will be there. It'll be the right size. You'll look at it and you'll say, okay, this is ready to be picked. And trees are great. I didn't realize that I have 25 trees, not a lot, but they are great trees that I have. They just require a lot when you're spraying them. And I sprayed them with a dormancy spray. I think I've done some of them like 3 times, and then a couple of trees I haven't sprayed at all because um, they're not producing yet. So I said, they're not producing any fruit. So, but make sure that you spray the ones that are producing fruit. But you want to spray them before they bud out. Before they bud out, all right. Great to see you all again. Thank you. Take care. And I just love the way that people are doing. They're growing food. The people in this room are growing food. That's what they're doing. And it makes me feel good because they are actually empowering themselves to save uh, some of the monies that they're giving away in taxes. They are saving some of their money because they're getting a better quality food, and they're being able to live better by eating better. That's what I like. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Got 8 thumbs up. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. And some of you get time, you go check out my videos that I just put up yesterday. And it tells like a little adventure of everything I did yesterday. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Got 9 up there. Got 9. So I guess that's it for today. Yeah. Unless you have any other questions or like to make some comments or something like that, let me know. Because we had a really, really, really great show today. I mean, we did. We got some information out there. What I want to do is pass on information. It's getting ready to go. It's getting ready. We're right up against. For a lot of us, we're right up against garden season. It's right there. I put everything in. I bought a couple of just one pack of seeds. I actually bought some online that you could not get in. You could not get in the store. I found in Lowe's in the bottom shelf they had something called giant uh, cabbage, giant watermelon, giant peppers, and a couple other giant products. Oh, and some kind of giant pumpkins. I mean, I don't know how big they actually get, but I believe when they name them giant, that they has a possibility to grow some size to them. So that's how I look at it. So keep a lookout for those if you're into growing the giant vegetables and like that. And I just think that it's like if that's what you like. Do anything that makes you happy. If it's growing giant vegetables, if it's growing peppers, if you love growing bananas, whatever it is, just do it. Just do it. And this has been the Morning Gardener Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.